Hey, this is Kurt the Boat Doctor out here in one of my favorite little boats. This is the Mighty Mo 1850. There's not another 18-footer that would even stand close to this. Virtually unsinkable. They're stable, they're quick, they back up quick, they turn quick. It's easy to get them on the trailer. You can just take your rope and just go up because of that arrow design. That's this part right here, and then cuts back flat. With this rollover right here on this top cap. These pre-flexure pressure bent sides, how these bends, the more bends you got, the stronger they are. These are foam filled. You got your main hole, you got your life ring, which is there to there, the straight part is the side chamber, and then you got one on the other side. So you should have 4 drain plugs. And way to go, buddy, you did it right, just perfect. The Garmin radar, the display, the VHF, you got just what you need in there. So good job. Garmin's the way to go. I had a guy the other day, I set it up. He had another brand in there as well, and he bought a new Garmin. He loves the Garmin, and I don't blame him. Just your anchor drain hole right here. You got your plow anchor here. These are the good ones. You got your tilt down anchor system, which is important. You don't want them straight out, or you have a hard time dropping the anchor. It's on a spool right here, and this is your hatch to get in. You pull that. Kind of hard with one hand, but anyway, this lifts up and you can see in here, and that's the right kind. So you can get these. We have these down here. This is your anchor swivel here when you attach it and it slides. Now some people will put like a shackle, and they're not a good idea because they'll get hung up on this, but these are the good anchors. You can actually if you wanted to run another, like a snap line from here back, so then if it gets stuck, you go backwards and no pull on the front of that. You got the swing tongue. Make sure the clip's in there. I'd get a cheapy padlock and throw in there just to keep, you know, the little kids from pulling that. Your brake fluid, I checked that. This has got to be pulled all the way out right here to release this, and your brake fluid caps under there are backing up. It says backing, you turn it the other way, but if this ain't all the way up, it is not going to turn. 2-inch ball with a peekapoo hole that you know you're on top of the ball. You got your little pin right there, the brake. So you know you have brakes. That's your safety chain for your brakes. Cables, I like the cables. Some people complain about them, but they don't rust. Yeah, but if they do checker, then it's time to replace them because they're rusted from the inside out. You got the flat 5, the blue wire there is your brake wire. Spare tire, your winch. You got it here for your bow mount. But anyway, these aero designs are just unbelievable. The fuel economy, nobody will touch the stabicrafts as far as fuel economy. Doesn't take a lot of power to push them. So they're recommended 90 horse. You can go up to 140 horse on these. So basically, you know, a 90 and a 115, you probably won't notice a hell of a lot of difference until you load it up really heavy. Then you want to go to the 115. You don't need much more power than that. You got the Garmin antenna. And like I say, you got the good antenna too. Don't get the cheapie, you know, 50 to 100 bucks. You're gonna have to spend almost 200, but the antenna's where it's at. You can get the best radio out there. You've got a cheesy antenna, you ain't gonna have nothing. You can get the best antenna and a cheap radio, and you have something. So anyway, these are like we got, we'll call it G3 tubing. If you look down here, you got these reverses all the way back, and they tilt down. So that's what keeps these things stable. The flotation, of course. And this is like 18.6. It's a 39-gallon fuel tank. And again, this will help keep that water flare, and this one keeps it shooting down so you don't get it inside the boat. And I think it's about 3,000 pounds roughly. Towing weight, and about 9 feet high to the top, but then you have to add, just added 2 more feet up there, so now there's about 11 feet, just so you know, with that radar up there. I'll calibrate that GPS antenna, gear bath oil hubs, brown good, white bad. You got disc brakes, load guides. So you did it right so far. Cleats, set stainless pole holders out the back, off to the side, off to the side. So you can use every one of these. Got pole holders to boot, cup holders, tackle holders, cleat. They still need to put a cleat right about in here. You know, I'd almost rather have one there than there, but that one I do use too if I'm by myself and it's windy. I'll just take the rope, I'll tie it off there for now, or even off of here, and then drop it down. But that's, like I say, a cleat would be nice there. But what I do is I take the rope, the front part of the rope here, the back part, and I whip it around here, so if I'm by myself and that wind's blowing me away from the dock, I can come back here and undo one instead of getting out of the boat again. Got the VMAX, got I think it's U-Flex, yep, hydraulic steering. This is to get to the lower bolt hole. They call it an inspection cap. Make sure that you don't really singe them, but they're tight. If you do get water in there for some reason, this would be somewhere to check that this wasn't tightened up or the O-ring's gone. You got your ladder, your step, your seat. You got a gate that goes back there. Pole holders, cattle lever seats. You got your cooler that slides up underneath, sliders, swivels. There's this nice Garmin display, VHF, nicely done, nice setup. You got your windlass, your command link round gauges, USB ports. I'll show you all this on the inside. Rear deck lights, grab handles everywhere. There's your freshwater flush. When you do that, this is the stop. You undo that, hook your garden hose to this. Just turn the water, do not start the motor. Now, if you do have the flushers onto here on the pickup, you turn the water on, then you start the motor, let it run. If you want to help, you can do a Y if you don't have the water pressure. Put one to the earmuffs here and another line into here. And then you can let it run. But if you're using that one, do not start the motor by itself. There's your plugs. You got your side chamber, life ring, deck, and the right hand chamber. 13 by 15 aluminum. This is a steer torque fan. Nowadays you really don't even need those, but it is zinc. And these got zincs internally. They're the best saltwater protected motor there is. The one nice thing with the 115, you got your oil drain here, so it's easy to do it yourself. The Yamaha don't care, but the first 20 hours I take it to a dealer just so they can go through the whole motor. Then after that, you can do it yourself really easy. Your trim switch is right there. Oil drain there. There's your key hole right there. Everything's tight. There's your motor stop that goes down here. Then you trim it on the side just to where it touches. And this one nice thing with this now, on a 115 you can trim it without a trim limiter. It won't hit and you're way out of the water that way. It looks like a 54 UHD. I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like. It could be a 51 or a 64, but I'm saying it's a 54. There's your gas vent right there. And if, say you're filling this, there's your gas fill here, kicker bracket, 2003 Smokercraft SMU. Anyway, when you're filling it, you should feel a little bit of air coming out here. But if this thing goes really slow, if you try to speed it up on the gas and it keeps clicking off, you want to get it to where it takes gas, but put your hand right here. If you don't feel air coming out of that, like, you need to open that up a little bit. See how loose that is right there? Then you can open it up just a hair to release that so it vents better. Load guides, gear bath oil up good there. Dual batteries, they're right up underneath there. And your seats, your breaker for your Maxwell, and your battery switch goes there. Flush mount control box, little pocket I'll show you up there when I get out in the water. A step, lights, rig for downriggers right there, grab handle. But these, look at the room you got in these. I mean, 18, look how deep. So you talk about, and even if you I mean, anything's possible, but say you took a wave, came in and crashed inside of this boat, or you got turned sideways somehow, this sucker will only go as far as that rear entry gate, and then your motor's still out of the water. Your water may only get up to that little seat right there, and it'll just sit level. So that's why I'm saying these are pretty safe. They turn on a dime. They're just an awesome boat. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and put about the 39 gallon can. I'll put about 20 gallons in here, just so that way if he wants a ride or a demo, he's got some gas in here. I'm going to put some non-ethanol to start. You don't have to run non-ethanol, but if you can, it wouldn't hurt it. You could run Supreme, it helps, but if you're going to store it for a while, I would run non-ethanol maybe the last couple of weeks before you put it away, and then either top it off or leave it down to a quarter tank. I would say if you're in an area where it rained a lot and was sitting outside, I'd probably say fill it up. So if there's some reason you had a leak in the tank or coming through the gas fill or something like that, at least you're not going to fill it up with water. Water, because the water, you're already full on gas, so it's just going to keep spitting out. So you won't have as much to waste, I guess, if you had to pump it out. Okay, this is the Boat Doctor out 2023 1850 Super Cab. Beautiful boat. Boat Doctor out.